and it was a lot. 2020 was a lot. It
Yeah,
definitely was.
absolutely. So, this is a hip hop game. It's also just a conversation, and we're celebrating both your career as well as your position as a fan, because we're all fans of this shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We all so yeah. So it's just a conversation. But what I wanted to get into before we even start the game, I was reading up more on you, and we have a couple connections here because I understand that you're originally from Florida, and then you
Yes.
live in New York, and
Yes.
I was born in New York, and I lived many years in South Florida. I'm in LA now, but where in Florida were you from?
I was in South Miami, and it's I don't know if a lot of people don't know. You got to really be from there. It's a place called Opalaka,
I know Opelika.
Opalaka, Florida.
Yep.
It's right before I guess you would get into Bunch Park and Carroll City. So you really have to know the area to know that. Yeah, everything is South Florida oriented
Yeah.
from that area on Liberty City and Overtown and stuff like that. So yeah,
Right.
it
When you're
wasn't a
talking
good
to
place to
people,
grow up,
no,
huh?
no, no. I was from Fort Lauderdale, which was a little bit, but like
There you
when you're
go. See,
when you're dealing with people who aren't from Florida at all, you just say South Florida as like the blanket.
exactly.
Like it's like yeah,
As an overall area and proximity of where you just talking about. Just say South Florida. That's it.
yep, yep. All right, well, we're gonna get into this game. So, we welcome you here on the questions, and this is just sort of our game that we do. We've got some people in the chat as well, so if you guys have questions for Lord Digga, we're gonna get into it at the end of the chat. We have a couple of people submit some things earlier today on Instagram as well. So we're gonna get into the first round, and the first round of the game is called "The Choice Is Yours." It is general
Oh
multiple
shit.
choice. Yep.
Okay.
So here we go. We're going to get into it. All right. Dan Aykroyd's 1991 comedy horror film, Nothing But Trouble, features this rapper's first appearance on screen with the group Digital Underground. Was it Exhibit, Snoop Dogg, Tupac, or Del the Funky Homo Sapien?
It was Tupac.
He says Tupac. Let's see if he's right, folks.
Tupac, go ahead and rock. Now this. I clown around when I hang around with the underground.
Tupac is correct.
When I come around, gas me and when they pass me.
Can you can see the screen as well, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. So I brought this up because Dan Aykroyd, this was this comedy horror film that he did, and Tupac and Humpty Hump and the crew were in this. And Dan Aykroyd is also famously known as being part of the group the Blues Brothers. You are also part.
Come on, you starting this already? This is what you're gonna start. This is the shit you're gonna start early. You're gonna swing for the fences early. This fucking guy. Here you go.
Nah, come on, man. Come on, man.
Come on.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that's interesting to me is that a lot of people may not necessarily know or associate the name Lord Digga. Those who know, but you know what I'm saying? Like, in promoting this and talking to people about this, you were on, you've contributed to classic records by, so many dope staples of 90s hip hop. What can you kind of tell me about the origins and the beginnings of your work as a producer? How did you sort of like break into that game?
Well, it kind of like went in reverse because I really wanted to rap, but I figured knowing how the industry was to get my feet in, the fastest way to do that would probably be through production, which I didn't really even know how to produce. So, my partner in crime, rest his soul, Witch Doc, we both started working at ASCAP around at the same time. And he was already in production. He already had a group. He was down with the Witch. It was Witch Doc and the Dominating 3 MCs. He was well on his way to doing a lot of stuff, but he just didn't have anywhere to place some of the tracks. So me and him hooked up, and he became basically my producer. And I started using some of the tracks that he already had was working on. So from there, I just was like, yo, look, I want to learn how, to try to produce my own tracks. So I started just traveling to his house like on Saturdays and watching him, sample shit in the ASR 10 and just different little shit. And I just picked up bits and pieces from there. And I started learning on three different machines. It was like the ASR 10, then it was the MPC 60, then the MPC 62, and somewhere in that mix, the SP 1200 got introduced. But I started using combinations of S950 and the SP 1200 and
Yeah.
the MPC 60 and the 950. So just different things, and I just learned how to just pick some sounds and put some drums with some loops. It started with basically with that.
Right.
And from there, it just spiraled into some other shit. And then we coming up with names for our production team, which was, like you said, you alluded to with Dan Aykroyd and shit like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. How did you land on Blues Brothers? Was it a direct reference to the Blues Brothers, or what
Yes,
was that?
it was because I felt because we were two musicians,
Mm.
and we were, producers, and I felt that as something that was being introduced new to the culture, that name to me and that movie to me, it kind of like represent both of us. Like I was kind of like the troublemaker, and he was kind of like the laid back dude. So it was like,
Mm.
you know, anything that I said, okay, yo, look, I think we need to do this. I encouraged him to basically do it. So it fit us perfectly.
Yeah, the different
It fit us
dynamics in
perfectly.
those relationships, those partnerships. You need that that balance, that yin and yang.
Of course, of course,
That's how all the great music gets made.
definitely.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next question. Doing good so far, Digga. All right, early in his career, this artist appeared on 3 songs from the Bush Babies sophomore album Gravity. Was it Busta Rhymes, Most Def, Talib Kweli, or Big Pun?
This is a good one. See, I'm trying to remember what label Bush Baby was on. I think it was Warner Brothers.
Hmm.
Um,
And if you guys know in the chat, feel free to
repeat the choices again.
Sure. So we're talking about the Bush Babies' second album, Gravity. This artist appeared on
Hmm.
3 songs. Was it Busta Rhymes, Most Def, Talib Kweli, or Big Pun?
This is hard because you got both of them in there. I'm going to say Talib.
He says Talib. Let's see what the answer is.
Everybody.
The answer was Most Def. Most
Ah,
Def appeared on 3.
see,
Close. Yep.
because you had both of them there. I knew it was one of them, but I wasn't sure. That's why I was like, damn, you got both of them there, and I was like,
We have a legend in the house, so we can't throw you all, softballs here tonight. We gotta,
what the? I hate being fucking wrong.
Well, listen, we've had 93 guests on the show, or you're our 93rd, and at the end of this, I'll let you know how you rank amongst all of them. But we've had very few perfects, so I don't want you to be too hard on yourself about this. But
Yeah,
the Bush, go ahead.
yeah. No, you go.
No, I was going to say, what kind of relationship or context do you have to the Bush Babies? I know that sort of like a Flatbush connection.
Exactly. They was like my little younger brothers coming up as, they made their way through, doing their shows and Mr. Man was I'm not gonna say was, I mean he's a great producer and I followed them as they was coming up in their travels and especially, just being from the bush. So that was an automatic follow. So and they made good songs
Absolutely.
as a young
Yeah.
and up and coming group. So
Yep.
shout out to the Bush Babies.
Shout out to the Bush Babies. All right, we're going to move on to the next question. In the opening lines of the song, Me and My Bitch, Biggie makes a sort of colorful observation that is also an homage to a bit by this comedian. Is that comedian Eddie Murphy, George Carlin, Richard
Richard
Pryor,
Pryor.
or Bill Cosby? He says
Richard
Richard
Pryor.
Pryor, and he should know, but yes.
When I met you, I admit my first thoughts was a trick. You look so good, huh? I suck on your daddy's dick. I never.
You look so good, I suck on your daddy's dick. That's
I
obviously an
shook my
homage.
head. I shook my
Were
head.
you,
I was like,
were you
wow.
familiar? Were you familiar with the Pryor bit at that time, or was that
Yeah, I was. But I know a lot of people wasn't.
a lot
I
of
was
people? Yeah,
a big Richard Pryor fan. A big Richard Pryor fan. So you know, before I even got to see him visually, I was still young, but I was listening to the records. It was, you know, a lot of his stuff was on, you know, on LP. So and on 8-track as well. So that shows how old I am. I got to listen to that shit a lot. So
tell
yeah.
me, yeah, anybody who's familiar with you, you've done interviews before, and you've spoken at length about working with Biggie, how he was very welcoming to you. Like, you guys didn't even know each other that well, and he was taking you everywhere. Was being super inclusive with you. Did you watch the Biggie documentary that just was on Netflix, or have you heard about that?
Well, that's another great question. Originally, when it was being filmed, I don't know if it was 2019, latter part of 2019, I got brought in the latter part. Matty C, told the directors who were doing it at the time to give me a call. So I got in, and they filmed me and everything. I mean, from what I know, I was going to be in the documentary. So later on, as I guess they had to get sample clearances or whatever from Puffy, he took it upon himself to take me out of the documentary, and he inserted himself in the documentary.
Damn.
So yeah, I know all about it, but yeah.
So not necessarily a film that you wanted to run and watch when it came out.
Not really. I kind of sensed that's what happened, because it took a while for it to actually, I guess, be edited and everything to get ready to be, to be shown on Netflix. But I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, of
but
course.
We did fucking 3 songs on that album. 3 classic songs on the album, and
right.
That was kind of petty of Puffy. That's petty Puffy right there.
Well, there's 2 things to unpack there. One, even aside from any kind of politics or whatever, a lot of times people shoot things for documentaries, and not everything makes it into the documentary. They'll shoot hours and hours, and then it gets condensed down to like 90 minutes. But it also, from an outside perspective, it seems like Puff has been very controlling of the narrative of Biggie's legacy, to the point that for those who know and look at the liner notes, it's not like Puff produced the whole album. Puff didn't really, as far as production, that's not him at all. It's Easy Mo B, it's You Guys the Blues Brothers, Lord Finesse.
Right.
But speaking of the Me and My Bitch joint, what do you remember about the conception of that song?
Well, originally that particular beat, I had did it for myself, and he heard it on the tape along with One More Chance, original One More Chance, and he just took the shit. From that point, I was like, "Yo, what the fuck we gonna do at this point? I just make some more music." But I honestly, I didn't know what it was gonna turn into. I know he was a great MC. And usually great MCs are not, that doesn't necessarily transfer into making great songs, and I didn't know exactly where he was going to go with that particular vibe at that time, with the smoothness of it. So, when we first heard, I don't even think that we were there when he first started recording it. I think we came in later, but hearing the finished product of it, and just listening to how he's talking about, my polos and Timbos and all that. You got to create a picture in your mind of what he was saying. And at the end of the story, he's like, "You killed my best friend," just me and my bitch, me and my everything just resonated to you now. Thinking about somebody that one of your females or whatever that was really close to you and shit. And that's the type of shit he always did.
Yeah,
Learn how to just
it's
turn the simplest shit into something great.
Yeah, that end of the song is a punch in the gut, because like the
Right.
whole thing, the whole track is, it's sort of more detached, and then that last song, "You Killed My Best Friend," is like, oh, like
I know a lot of people feel that way about one of their female friends or whatever. And yeah, like I said, he had a way of turning the simplest shit into something great.
and
And
just
that's what
so
that song
incredible.
was.
Yeah, and just so incredible for you to be a part of that legacy, like 3 songs on one of arguably the most classic debuts. And it's incredible.
Yeah, it definitely is.
All
Definitely.
right,
It
we're
was
gonna
a
move on.
that was a blessing, and that I didn't see coming.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on to the last question in our first round. Main Aim from Cellar Dweller's second album, The Last Shall Be First, was also on a
Mhm.
soundtrack to this 1997 basketball themed film. Was it Soul in the Hole, He Got Game, Space Jam, or Blue Chips? We're talking about the song Main Aim by the Dwellers. It was also on this soundtrack to a
Soul in the Hole.
He says Soul in the Hole. He is absolutely correct. Soul in the Hole. Soul Dwellers is another group that you definitely crossed paths with and played a role in their career.
Definitely. Those are my little brothers. And just like Big, I didn't know them at first either. And I think we're frozen. I didn't know them
Uh,
at first either. And
I hear you. You're not frozen on my end, but I don't know if I'm frozen for you right now. Can you hear me?
it was a by chance. It was a by chance thing where one of my good friends said, you got to meet these dudes. They're really talented. And at that time, I was like, yo, I'm trying to advance as much as I can with producing, with me being an artist. So if it's going to be what it is, let me check it out. And one day I got to meet him, and the rest was history. I already had the connection with Maddie C, so Loud Records was, that was an easy thing for them to have their success there early.
Yep. All right. Well, you did pretty well
Yeah.
on the first round. We're gonna move on to our second round, and the second round is called Picasso, baby. So in this round,
I like that song too.
It's a super dope beat. It's a Timbaland flip of a Adrian Young sample, and yeah, just a super dope beat.
Shout out to all the talented producers and my comrades that's born under the moon, sign of Pisces. I think that Timbaland is a Pisces as well. So yeah, pretty talented dude.
So you either just had a birthday or you're about to have a birthday then?
Yeah, birthday just passed March 5th.
Happy belated.
Thank you, brother.
I'm an Aquarius right before.
See,
so
there you go. But we can't live without the Aquarius because y'all the water barriers and y'all carry the water in a bucket. So yeah.
I was just carrying a bucket earlier. Yeah. No.
Right. Fish need fucking water. Shout out to my other Piscean, Apathy. That's my brother.
Yep, we just had Apathy on the show a couple weeks ago as well.
Exactly.
So shout out. Yep. All right. So in this round, we're going to test your eyes here. So I'm going to show you a small piece of an album cover, and you have to tell me what the album is by the little crop of it that you see. So here we go. Here's the first one.
Right now, I still see Richard Pryor. I don't see it.
You still see Richard Pryor. Interesting. It might be something on your end. So is the screen frozen? Like, do you see my hand moving
Yeah.
or no? All right.
Yeah, it's frozen. I'm not moving at all. Okay, now it's moving.
Okay, now it's moving.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna put my camera back on. All right, cool. Now I know how to fix it. Just turn the camera off for half a second. There you go.
Okay. So now we're back. You see Picasso Baby round 2 on the screen there. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so what album is this? Is it Arsonist, As the World Burns, Artifacts, Between a Rock and a Hard Place, Drag On, Opposite of H2O, or Busta Rhymes, Extinction Level Event? Chat,
I know all of those albums too.
We're zooming in. We're zoomed.
Let me pull my shades down for half a second.
Examine.
No, that wasn't that. Arsonist.
You're going with the Arsonist as your final answer?
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember the other covers, and I don't. Yeah.
All right, we're going to reveal the answer now.
All right.
Oh wait, you don't sound sure. I don't want to pull the trigger unless you're sure. I don't know if you see
Yeah,
the
yeah.
chat
I'm
here as well.
I'm going with Arsonist. I'm going with Arsonist. Final answer.
Let's go Arsonist. Let's see. It was Artifacts, Between a Rock and a Hard Place. There was
another
similar.
It's 2 A's. I forgot about how that cover looks. See, right. I hate being wrong.
Listen. Digga.
And I was trying to visualize the shit in my head, like, what the fuck? Fuck.
It's all right. We're gonna move on.
Shout out to Chain and L too, man. Those are my brothers too. We was on the same label at some point.
Yep, and shout out to L. He's a former guest on the show as well, and a former alumni of the Questions Hip Hop Trivia. All right, we're going on to the next one. Is it Freestyle Fellowship, Inner City Griots, Diggable Planets, Blowout Comb, Funk Dubious, Which Doobie You Be, or Camp Low, Uptown Saturday Night? We're looking at some characters here. Help him out, chat. What do you guys think? Digga, I don't know if you can see the chat, but you should be able. Do you see a chat or no?
No, not on us.
Okay, it might only be.
What was it? What were the choices again? I know you said Funk Dubious, right?
Funk Dubious is one of them. Freestyle Fellowship, Diggable Planets, or Camp Low.
This is so hard. Pause.
We got a lot of people in the chat. The chat is saying C. For what it's worth, you don't have to listen to them, but a lot of the chat is saying it's Funk Dubious.
And that's what I was saying in my head, because I know Doobie. All right, I'm going to go with C.
He's going C. Let's see if he's right, folks. Funk Dubious is correct. Yeah. I read something on the internet. Is it true that you are in a film that Funk Dubious was in?
Let's get the story. Okay, it goes like this. My good brother was a prominent film director in the 90s by the name of Ron Hightower. He did
Okay.
pornographic film. He had this series called Dark Alleys that he was doing, and he invited me to do some B-roll acting, not actually having intercourse with whores and shit. Like, even though I wanted to, but I had to get tested and all that other stuff. And there was a lot of crazy stuff going on back then, like fucking outbreaks and
Sure.
shit. So I didn't want to chance it. And then I
Yeah.
didn't know what I was going to put. I didn't even know what I was going to put my career at that point. So I just did the B-roll acting. It was like Dark Alleys 24 and 25 or some shit like that. And not too long after that, which Doobie UB, Funk Doobies, actually films. I think he actually filmed scenes, actual sex scenes, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Could be wrong,
Yeah, I think you're right.
but I think he did. So shout out to Funk
Um,
Doobies. That's my guy
my
too.
question, my follow up question is, what the fuck is B-roll acting in a porn? Like, what are you doing in the background or B-roll in a
Okay,
pornographic film?
the B-roll acting will be like like they'll set up some fake scenarios, some fake skit shit in between. Like, okay, one of my roles was I was acting as a fucking fake foreman on a job site, and
Okay.
guys was like fucking off and acting stupid and shit, and I was supposed to be like calling them names and saying little funny shit to them and threatening them that they was going to lose their job if their fucking acted straight up. So that would be like one of the scenes in between them going on into having some chick come on the job site and blow him behind the wall or some shit. So yeah,
Ah,
that's
so
what
you're
B-roll
sort of
acting
like
is. B-roll in pornos is that I'm not actually pornoing, if that's a
right.
word.
You're setting up the scene that you're building the world. You're the mean
Yeah,
boss, and then the dramatic arc, and then you leave, and then
exactly.
he's so stressed that he's got to get his rocks off. Listen. It's a very important part of the film. I don't want you to downplay your role. Like a
Yeah,
lot of
because
people,
you
yeah, are gonna
might
say,
you might want to be setting up, getting your little Vaseline, your little oil in between, get ready to lather up, whatever you get ready to do with yourself. You play well by yourself. I don't know what but in between that's that little time that you got right there. That actually there's no
right.
real
So
action happening.
right. So you're there to set the stage. Grab your accessories, do what you need to do. Digga Man's going to be here. He's going to provide you with a little break from the fucking, and
Hmm.
then back to the action. All right, I'm not mad at it. Um,
Yeah, I think
I'm
that's
glad we
that's
set
pretty
that
much the
story.
gist of it.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go into the final album cover of this round. Great stories. I love that. All right, here we go. What album cover is this? Is it Lord Finesse, The Awakening, Large Professor, Main Source, DJ
Busta
Quick, Way
Rhymes.
Too Funky, or no, it's no Busta Rhymes, or Paris, Sleeping with the Enemy?
Okay, okay. Okay, repeat those choices again because I cut you off when I said Busta Rhymes.
It's all good. Is it Lord Finesse, The Awakening, Large Professor, Main Source, DJ Quick, Way Too Funky, or Paris, Sleeping with the Enemy? And if you want help, I've got the
We,
chat here, so I can tell you what the chat is saying.
I, I'm thinking DJ Quick.
Hmm. A lot of the chat is saying Lord Finesse as well, but you got to go with your
They're
gut on
saying
this one.
No
Just a
finesse is
moment
my
of
brother. I
truth.
don't want to get this wrong. I'm
I
going
mean,
through
to
my
be
mental
fair,
Rolodex
whether
right
it is
now.
or not, yeah, we're zooming way in here, so to be fair,
Right, exactly.
Not- yeah.
Mm, it's possible. All right. Uh, let's go with Lord Finesse.
He's going Lord Finesse. He's taken the words of the chat into consideration, and it's a good thing he did because
I'm hip to the game.
that is Lord Finesse. That zoom in on that eye.
Cause when I'm broke, I got fame, sunshine or rain. Ain't a damn thing changed. I'm hip to the game.
Another super dope producer, MC. What was your relationship with Lord Finesse? How did you guys link initially?
I got to see him. I don't know. It was one of those, what do you want to call, new music seminar type events, and for the first time, I got to see him be a turntablist, like a fucking scratch master. This is something I didn't know. This shit was fucking incredible. Like, I don't even think I think I was just coming up, like, you know, Lord Digga, and just finding my way around that time. And I think I just, you know, after all of that was over, after he finished with him, I think I just walked up to him and was like, you know, aside from your fucking music, yo, bro, like, I like the way you fucking cut, bro. Like, you're fucking phenomenal. Like, he was doing fucking crazy tricks and all type of crazy shit. I was like, yo, I would have never known that. So, yeah. And then from that point on, we just, you know, wherever we saw each other, you know, we just held each other up, and, you know, like, it was just cool. We would just take pictures and shit, and just, I think one time too, I think we had met up at the Vibe magazine or some subsidiary of the Vibe or whatever. We had an interview about Big. It was like talking about working on the album and shit. I haven't seen him for a long time, and, you know, Vanessa is one of the coolest, realest, you know, artists that's been in this game for a long time. You know, the whole team, you know, so shout out to Finesse.
Huge shout out to Finesse, yes. All right, well, speaking of producers, speaking of the crew, we're going to move into our third round, and the third round is called Digging in the Crates.
Biz, my man still digging in the crates, diamond deep. Yeah, I'm still digging in the crates, showbiz.
So this is our sample round. So this is all about samples. So I'm going to play you a sample and ask you a question about it.
Oh,
all right.
This ought to be great.
This is kind of your bag, you know, like this is, you know, I'm going to make it so I think if I do this, the screen will be bigger as well.
James Brown.
All right. So here we go. Get Up Off of That Thing by James Brown was sampled by Boogie Down Productions for this song on Criminal Minded. So I'm going to play you the James Brown song. You tell me what BDP song sampled it. Here we go.
I'm back. Get up off of that thing and stand to you. I'm back. Get up off.
Was it The Bridge Is Over, Criminal Minded, South Bronx, or Poetry? I'll play it one more time.
South Bronx.
He knows. He says it's South Bronx.
Yo, what's up, Blast Master?
South Bronx is correct.
Kick it. Word. Yo, what up, D Nice?
Yo, what's up, Scott LaRock?
Classic sample.
Classic.
That was in your
one of my favorite groups. Coming
Absolutely.
up, high school, 1988, 87, 86, all those times. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. In 86, 87, could you have imagined that in the year 2020, D-Nice would become the biggest DJ on social media? Like DJing for 9 hours, like, and with the president, like the first lady, and like all these people in the chat? Like, that's been an incredible come up.
That right there was the most phenomenal shit I've ever seen in my life. As an originator of doing something that no one has done.
Yep.
In the time that we were all just in this funk about a lot of stuff. He goes and does that shit. Salute D Nice. That shit was genius, beyond genius. Like
And it's always dope
yeah,
too to see people because it's not like D Nice was inactive. You know, like D Nice has been doing
right,
his thing as a DJ, as a photographer, but it's really great to see the not the come up, but sort of the resurgence of somebody later in their career. Because I think a lot of times, maybe less so now, but and a lot of times in hip hop, it's kind of like, oh, it's a young man's game. You're in it, and then you sort of age out of it. And that's a great example
right,
of somebody who, I mean, really grabbed 2020 by the horns and rode the wave to success,
right. Definitely. Super,
Salute to
super,
you.
super, 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 super shout out. D
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, we're going to move on to the next question.
BDP.
BDP, shout him out. Yep. All right. The 1988 song Wild Thing by Too Much was covered by LL Cool J for this 1995 hit. I'm going to play you the Too Much joint. Was it Hey Lover, Doing It, Lounging, or I Shot Ya?
It was Doing It.
It's real, baby, stick it out. Here comes the man.
Did it well.
Doing it well. Kind of a cover almost, because it was the rapper Lachelle who was on the original, and then she was actually on the LL joint as well.
Right. Exactly. I was always trying to figure out how that happened, but we know. I mean, just it's LL, so it's he made it bigger than life.
Right. It's like one of those things where if LL Cool J at that time steps to you and is like, hey, I want to redo your song, like, you're not really gonna say no, right?
Nah, I don't even think I would have said no. I'd have been like, word? James Todd Smith? You wanna do some shit that I did? Like, word? Like when all your shit goes platinum, like, word? All right, cool.
You're talking about LL Cool J, like hard as hell LL Cool J? Like,
like
you need
what?
love?
Like, live without my radio, LL Cool J? Like, what? What the fuck?
It's
That's like the best
it's
LL Cool J. Like, man, yo, hold on. I gotta expound on this for 1 second. There's a lot of people when we having these conversations about the GOAT, about I don't even fucking understand how his name doesn't come up.
I mean, it should come up at the very least because, as far as I know, he's the one who kind of popularized the term the GOAT. Like he was kind of throwing that around, and he named an album after, he put out later in his career, the GOAT. But outside of that, yeah, I think LL Cool J has like an impeccable catalog. But I think a lot of people may overlook the earlier stuff because they weren't there or they have forgotten about it.
Yeah, but I know it's easy to put down the old stuff when you get new toys and shit like that, but it kind of, the conversation to me, it should start with him and then you work your way into everything else. That's just my honest opinion. Okay, we can move along now.
Well, wait. Now I want to dig a little bit deeper into the LL realm here. What, in your opinion, is LL Cool J's best record? Your personal favorite or best?
Well, I think it's correct. I mean, like, I got to hear some of his tapes before it became records. So songs like Dear Yvette and shit like that, raw, heard it raw before it really transpired into what it turned into. Mama Said Knock You Out to me was really where it kind of like broke. Because knowing basically, I'm not going to say every song, but back then he was going at Kumo D just like for it was just crazy. So, Kumo D is like one of my, top favorite MCs of all time, along with my brother Busy B, like all of the legends. Those are the people that I consider real legends. Like, when people say, people come up to me and say, oh, yo, you a legend and shit like that, I'll be like, yeah, whatever. But thanks. But the real legends to me are those guys like Grandmaster Caz and Busy B and Melly Mel and Kumo D and, shit like that. To me, those are the legends those are the people that I look up to. So, LL going at Kumo D like that shit was just amazing to me.
Right.
And then like Kumo D wasn't really backing down. Like it was like, it was really like, yeah, okay. You're really gonna have to take my head off at this point. So and then on top of that, to say that those were and these were good records.
Right. It wasn't just disses that like might have been,
Right.
like poison his pen, but like you don't want to listen to it again. He was making
Exactly.
jams that were like treacherous, but also had replay value as songs.
Yeah, like he's doing the Jingling Baby remix. Just that song right there is just, come on, man. That's classic shit. And he's still going after people through that whole song, that whole verse.
Yeah. I do think you are correct, and it is good in pointing out that he does get overlooked a lot in these conversations. It's also crazy. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. The album you're talking about, Mama Said Knock You Out, was his like comeback album.
Right.
And he was like perceived as, washed up maybe at that point because he had faltered a little bit. Digga, I think LL was probably 22 at the time. Like that is insane to think about now when you have rappers. You got like, Jay-Z putting out records in his 40s and, like Nas just won rap album of the year in his like mid to late 40s. LL Cool J was washed up at 22 and he made a comeback. It's insane. But at the time, it didn't, because again, rap was so young at that point that it was like, oh man, LL, your like fourth album. Like,
his first album, he's like 15 years old or some shit like that. So 16, like, so yeah, it's like crazy. That's crazy. He washed up to get somebody he's done at 22. What the fuck? What type of shit is that? Yeah, that is crazy.
22, you haven't done anything. I mean, if you're LL Cool J, you've already changed the world. But like most people,
barely know how to wash your fucking clothes at 22.
I still don't. I'm still fucking up my
You
laundry,
dude. You mixing in fuck colors with the whites.
Oh, I mean, you got. Nah, I was gonna make a joke, but I won't go there. All right. The segregation works with laundry only. That's the only place we want to see that. All right. Question number 10. Final question in the round. In 2017, so we're going a little. This is bridging the modern day with the 90s. In 2017, this artist paid homage to organized confusion, stress by recreating the original song's beat. So I'm going to play you the original song's beat, and you tell me who redid this. Was it Tyler, the Creator, French Montana, J. Cole, or Joey Badass?
This is a fucking good one.
2017, an artist recreated that beat. So here's who we got on the table: Tyler, the Creator, French Montana, J. Cole, or Joey Badass.
Joey Badass.
You're going Joey Badass. All right. We're going to hear the answer now.
When I pull up, they notice me.
The answer was French Montana, but Joey Badass. Joey Badass is a good guess because he seems like the type of artist who would. You know
right. Yo, because see, I wasn't thinking. See, another thing too, I wasn't thinking it on it being pitched down. And then
yeah.
another thing too, I don't really listen to French Montana like that either. So
Yeah, of course. You know, we're covering all the bases here. What do you think about when more current or modern hip hop artists redo songs like that? Like, do you feel one way or another, or does it not matter to you as long as the song is dope?
yeah, I mean, if it's dope, I mean, I don't have an issue with it at all. Now I kind of remember that song now. Now that I'm like, wait a minute, yeah, I kind of do remember that. But yeah, if on the overall, now I don't have a problem with it if it's dope. Definitely,
Right.
no problem at all.
Do you still listen to a lot of what's current and like on the radio, or do you sort of avoid that at this stage in your life?
Nah, I pretty much just listen to my family, you know, Smith and Wesson, and a lot of, you know, stuff for that realm. Like anybody that's my family, that's the only thing I really listen to. I'm kind of biased because we the only ones that still stick to to what's going on. You know, all of my connections from Duck Down, you know, Ruck Down, my little brother Rim, and basically all the family tree that's extended from that. You know, my production team has put out a lot of product too. I don't know if you know, I've been with Team Demo since like 2002. So we've been doing a lot of stuff in the last, I don't know, maybe like 5-6 years or so, just doing remixes. We did 2 mashups with a lot of the Biggie acapellas. We did Notorious Hayes and Notorious White, where we used just samples from Isaac Hayes and Barry White to remix a lot of the Biggie acapellas that we found.
Oh, that's dope.
So
yeah,
you can look at whoever's in the chat. Y'all want to look that up? It's some of it's on YouTube. Team Demo, Notorious Hayes, and Notorious White. Y'all should go and check that out.
You definitely run that back. That's what's up. All right, we have reached the final round, Lord Digga, and the final round is called Time's Up. So this is what we're gonna do. This is the speed round. You're gonna have 90 seconds to answer 5 questions in the category of your choosing. Here are tonight's categories. The first one is Turn Your Pages to 1993. This is all about the year 1993. The second category is Praise the Lords. This is all about lords in hip hop. And the third category is Let's Look Back at the 2021 Grammy Awards, which just happened a couple days ago. So you got 3 choices here. We got 1993, Praise the Lords, or the 2021 Grammys. You choose your category.
Praise the Lords.
He's going Praise the Lords. All right. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to go over these rules for you one more time here, just so you're clear on all this. You're going to have 90 seconds to answer 5 questions in the Praise the Lords. If you don't know the answer, you can say pass and we'll come back to it. But if you answer the question wrong, then that question is burnt. So, you know, you only get one try on answering these. I've got the chat pulled up here as well. This is our first time doing it this way, and I know you can't see the chat. So if you want help from the chat, you can tell me, and I'll let you know what the chat is saying as well. So are you ready to do this?
Yes, I am. I don't sound confident, but yeah, I guess.
You sounded very definitive there, but I understand. Also, I have...
Look, I'm like, 90 seconds is not a lot of time, bro. But yeah, okay, that's cool.
So to that end, I have OC's Time's Up here, and it is clocked at 90 seconds. So when we stop hearing the classic instrumental, your time will be up, sir. So are you ready to do this?
One of my favorite joints. You just keep doing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've been doing this. We've been doing this version of the show for a year. Like,
First of all,
know how to have these waters.
I love this fucking show already. This is fucking by watching some of the episodes already, so it's like, yo, this is fucking great. Now I'm actually doing this shit. So yeah, shout out to this fucking question shit. This is fucking genius.
Much appreciation, sir. And we're gonna get into all the mushy stuff at the end where we talk about how much we love
All right.
your music. But right now we gotta fucking we gotta fucking see this thing through. So you're going
All right.
praise the Lords. We got 90 seconds on the clock. Here we go. Name all 3 members of Lords of the Underground.
Oh shit. Mr. Funky. Damn, I can't even think right now. Lord Jazz.
Yep.
And
begins with a D.
I can't think of. Damn, I'm
right,
so
we'll
high right now.
We'll come back to it. Lord
Chat.
Have
Okay,
Mercy. Lord Have Mercy appeared on Busta Rhymes' first album on a song that paired the Flip Mode Squad with This Crew. It was Flip Mode Squad meets This Crew on Busta Rhymes' first album.
Conglomerate?
It was not Conglomerate. All right. In recent years, this hip-hop media personality has welcomed Lord Jamar on his show as a frequent guest and commentator. What show has Lord Jamar been popping up on the internet a bunch? It's a TV station on YouTube.
Pass.
All right, we're going to pass on that. All right, in 2012, Lord Finesse filed a lawsuit against this artist over an uncleared sample of a song. This was an artist who used a Lord Finesse beat but didn't clear it, and he sued him.
I know this too. I just can't think of his name. It's my boy from Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Damn,
recently deceased in the last
year.
year.
Recently deceased. I can't think of his name right now.
All right. So that 90 seconds did fly by. So
yeah. It flew by quick. Watch, I think of his name in a little while, like a dumb.
Well, I'm going to tell it to you now, and you're gonna
I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be mad.
Okay, get ready because Lord Digga is about to be mad. Mac Miller was the name of the artist Lord Finesse sued. Lord Jamar has.
I'm so fucking mad.
Don't be mad.
What show Lord Jamar was on?
Vlad TV. DJ Vlad.
Right.
He pops up on there all the time. Lord Have Mercy appeared on Busta Rhymes' first album on a song that was called Flip Mode Squad meets Def Squad. It was the posse Redman and his crew and Busta's crew.
Right. See, right now at this point, I'm like high, and I'm like, yeah, okay, you're right.
Like totally, I totally know what you're saying, bro. I totally know what you're saying.
That's why I was like this. Mac Miller. I'm really mad about that. Yo, rest in peace, Mac Miller. He's a fucking great artist too.
Peace, Mac Miller. I'm gonna total up your score, but I want you to know something, Lord Digga. No matter what, you are a champion in our eyes.
Did you realize that you were a champion in their eyes?
I'm fucking done.
I have one more question for you. And that is, now that you've been on the show, who is someone that you would recommend to come on the show? Like, who would you nominate that we have on the show next?
I'm trying to see who would be really good to come on the show. Let's see. You didn't do Sadat X, right?
No, we haven't had Sadat. We should get him, right?
Sadat X, or my brother too, Saigon.
Ooh, Saigon. Yeah. Those are two artists we have not had. I feel like they would be great on this. We will definitely hit them up. So I total up your score here, Digga. You got 9. You got 8.5 out of 15. I'm bumping you up to 9. Now, before you get mad, I want you to know who you're in company with in the 8 and the 9 club here. Former guests on the show. You're in the standing with in this weight class, we'll call it, with Warren G, Cypher Sounds, formerly of Hot 97, DJ Mona Lisa, Rep Matic from the Beat Junkies, DJ Doo-Wop. We've got Justin Hunt from Hip Hop DX, Frank Nitt from Frank and Dank from Detroit. I mean, I don't want you to feel like you're in a fucked up place here because you're standing with some very reputable names there. Those are not slouches. You're not standing outside the club. I want you to know that.
I know I got a seat at the table, but I'm still not happy about that.
Well, maybe we'll have to have you back. I mean, maybe we will
Maybe,
call it a comeback.
yeah, I might have to. I'm not saying I'm going to get them all right, but I want to put forth a better effort. I mean that's great. I'm not really salty about it as much as I thought I would be. Honestly, I thought I was going to come on and just get everything wrong.
Okay, so by
I
that
told my wife
metric,
that. I said I'm going to come on and get everything wrong.
oh, so by that metric, you did an absolute fucking bang up job. Like you got way more than 0. So that's you're walking away a champion here, no matter what. If you guys have some questions, drop them in the chat. We have a little bit of time left. We had somebody who asked on Instagram earlier, and I think I knew the answer to this, but I want to get it straight from you. DJ Jedi asked earlier, what was DJ Premier's involvement in Saturday Night Live, the song? Because he wasn't clear on that. I believe that he just did the cuts, right?
Right. That was those cuts in Saturday Night Live was cuts by DJ Premier. We actually used the same studio as Gangstar at that time, which was Firehouse Studios. So, and that was the original Firehouse Studios before it moved to 28th Street in Manhattan. It was in Brooklyn. So we basically used the cross sessions. They used to be in there before us. And one day he was just there hanging out and we pulled him in and he just started doing it and started cutting and shit. And next thing that's what you heard, DJ Premier. So yeah.
it wasn't.
Shout out to Premier.
Yes, absolutely.
That's my brother. Definitely.
He's
been on the show. No,
we haven't had Premier. We need to get Premier.
So yes.
I've emailed his manager and gotten crickets, but I think it's just a matter of time. Right?
Somebody else we get Wise P, formerly of the Rangers. We doing a lot of work with Wise P Team Demo. Shout out to Wise P and his new project. That's somebody. What about I'm starting to think of people now. See, I'm so mad about Mac Miller. What the fuck? How the fuck I can? All right, don't worry.
Just if
it's
anybody's
okay.
Tuning in, just to be clear, he's not so mad about the tragedy of Mac Miller. He's mad that he forgot his name in the trivia game. No, I'm just fucking.
Yeah, that was. No, I'm mad about I'm mad about the tragedy too. But for right now,
if we're ranking in terms of recentness, you're most recently mad about forgetting the trivia.
Yeah, definitely. Sure that's high on the rank scale.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Listen, Digga, we got to leave that behind. I can't. You're not going to bed, man. I want you to understand that no matter what, you're Lord Digga. So like, you won. You know what I'm saying? Like, you won. You might not have scored perfectly on the game, but you did pretty well in life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to accept it.
You got to accept it in life that you are.
It was a tough pill to swallow.
Well, listen, I want to thank you so much for appearing on the show. It seems like your camera is cutting in and out right now.
So. Yeah, there you go.
I want to thank you for appearing on the show. What do you have? Do you have anything coming up, or what for people to check out? What should people know about what's coming up next from you?
I've been working on a couple of things here and there. For the most part, I'm not really doing as much production now. I'm just doing, putting together projects and some great material and things of that nature. Got a couple of things I'm going to put out this year. One of them is called Snap. It's an EP with my bro Big Ezo, who was formerly a DJ for Nikki D from Flavor Unit. We worked on a couple of things, and we're gonna put out some music this year, and just a couple of items that's gonna be floating around soon. So you'll be hearing, something that I think that I could still, contribute to the culture, and people will fuck with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll be here to check for it. So thank you again so much for appearing on the show. We appreciate you. Salute you for all of your contributions and accomplishments to the culture. And just be safe and be well, man.
Thank you.
All right. Peace.
Thank you. Salute. Peace.
Salute. Peace. Thank you. There you go, guys. That was Lord Digga, episode 93 of The Questions is a Wrap. So this was, our first time doing this on all these multiple formats. It seems like most of you were watching on Twitch. Trackstar showed up late. Shout out to DJ Trackstar, former guest on the show. Forever creeping in. We switched things up a little bit today. Different time, different format. We got to figure it out how to still send this to our live stream on IG. I don't even know how this sounded or looked. I'm going to go back and watch this like a viewer for the first time because I want to know how it went. But yeah, big shout out to Lord Digga. That was a great episode. Episode 93 is in the can. We will be back next week. The show is going to evolve, guys. That just is what it is. We're quickly approaching a year of doing this thing, and we're figuring out how to, how to make it evolve with the times, man. Let us know. Shoot me a DM on Instagram, as I assume most of you guys follow us there, and tell me what you thought of this compared to the IG format. I want to know what you guys think. So, thanks again. We'll be back next week. Peace.